This video is all about front kicks for self-defense. There's a lot of vulnerable points you could strike towards. You could go for something like the kneecap. However, the front kick is likely to slide off the opponent and it's a very small target to connect to. So rather, I recommend going for the groin. That doesn't mean it's like a magic trick and like a button you can press and you'll instantly win the fight. You could even miss when going to the groin. That can easily happen in a chaotic situation. But you're hitting towards the center of the opponent. There's a chance you'll either get the thigh or the stomach, which is a great target as well. Or ideally, you're gonna connect to the groin. In terms of getting hit to the groin, it can cause all kinds of reactions. I've tried several different reactions on my own body from sparring in different situations, even a street fight as a kid. Sometimes you can get hit and you'll just instantly drop to your knees. Sometimes it's like a delayed reaction, sometimes it's not that big a deal. It really just depends. So I recommend getting used to visualizing that target, even if you can do so safely with a cup. Start hitting your opponent to the groin if he's fine with it, using something like a front kick and knees and different techniques. I do want to note that once you develop the habit of seeing the groin as a target, it's great for self-defense, but you also need to turn it off if you're in some kind of normal type of sparring situation where it's more friendly and not so much self-defense focused, or if it's like a competitive sports situation. So the other thing I want to talk about is the lead front kick versus the rear front kick. And each is great. I want you to practice both for sure. But I've generally had more success using the rear front kick in sparring, and even in my first full contact fight. I'll show a clip where I kind of landed it not so clean. However, for self-defense, I'd actually rather recommend the lead leg front kick. And as you'll see in this video, I have two examples where I use it in a chaotic self-defense sparring situation. I've also tried delivering a rear front kick. I think I've had luck with it where it's been self-defense sparring, but not that much.
Fuck man, I have no problem.
The key reason is that it takes longer to execute this kind of kick as opposed to this. The other difference, which is key to be aware of, is the difference in terms of reach. This one is also more powerful, but sometimes you just want to make sure to connect and then you can follow up, which is why I'm going to recommend this for self-defense, especially if you manage to connect to the groin or something like that. So in the two instances I was able to deliver this kick. It has greater reach, and that's typically an advantage if it's like a combat sports fight or regular sparring where you're able to control the distance and hit and not get hit. But that's a much more cerebral context compared to the more animalistic and instinctive situation where an aggressor decides to attack you. And from my experience and footage I've watched, I think usually the aggressor will close the distance quick, and in that situation it actually becomes a disadvantage to have too much reach. Now, why is it then that I've had more success using the lead leg front kick with further reach in self-defense? Well, each time it's been a situation where the opponent attacks me and closes the distance quick, but I'm able to see the opponent come towards me. So I've used my footwork to create a bit of distance to deliver the kick. Notice that I'm not going up like this to the chest or to the face, but rather to the groin or the stomach or wherever you might connect. So what if the opponent is already in close? Sometimes you'd be in a conversation or something and the opponent might attack you, or you can be standing in a bus or something where there's no place to move. Well, I wouldn't go for a front kick at all in that kind of situation. I'd go for something like potentially an elbow or like palm strike, perhaps even followed up with gouging the eyes if possible and slapping the face into something if there's a wall near you. Generally, I wouldn't strike with my feet at all if it's in that close distance, because you want to avoid at all costs getting to the ground. So this is grass, but on the grass there could be like glass, and it could be a much harder surface, so you could get hurt just getting down there. Also, if there's multiple opponents, potentially, if the person has some friends around or something, it's a bad situation to be stuck on the ground. And if you realize that the opponent has a knife or something, of course on the ground you can try and pin it and use your weight to keep control of the weapon. But I prefer standing up and being able to create an opportunity and run away if the opponent has a knife or something. Just generally for self-defense, if you're able to run away, then that's always the best option, so that's why it's nice to stay standing. That said, if the opponent runs towards you, I've had good experience from sparring, trying to emulate the chaos of a true self-defense situation. I've had good experience trying to deliver that lead front kick, typically stepping off. You could even angle off to a different side, then it might be a knee or something. That could be great, but when under pressure I've only just instinctively retreated, and that's quite a nice one.
Visit patreon.com/Zen-Dragon.